July 13th, 1977, exactly 45 years ago today, a major blackout hit New York City. For 25 hours, the darkness led to total chaos with widespread looting and fires in the streets. It happened at a time when the city was already in a financial crisis with high unemployment rates.
The 1977 NYC blackout and how it changed the city. July 13th, 1977. A violent summer storm rolled into New York City, and by nightfall, the entire city was plunged into total darkness. But this wasn't just about the lights going out. It was about decades of tension, inequality, and broken systems reaching their breaking point. Over the course of 24 chaotic hours, New York became a war zone. Looting, fires, riots, thousands arrested. And in the ashes, a culture was born that would change the world. This is the full story of the 1977 NYC blackout and how it shook the city to its core, exposing its cracks and birthing its next evolution. Chapter 1. A City on Edge. In 1977, New York was broke, literally. The city had narrowly avoided bankruptcy just 2 years earlier. Schools were closing. Fire departments were underfunded. The Bronx, Brooklyn, and Harlem were crumbling. The murder rate had tripled since the late 60s. Unemployment in Black and Latino communities was sky high. Drug addiction was everywhere. Garbage strikes piled trash high. The son of Sam serial killer was terrorizing the streets. And to top it off, a brutal heat wave. People were angry, poor, scared, and hot. All it needed was a spark. Chapter 2. The Lightning Strike. At 8:37 p.m., a bolt of lightning struck a substation in Buchanan, New York. Then another hit the Indian Point nuclear plant. A cascade of errors and failures, both human and technical, caused one power station after another to drop offline. By 9:30 p.m., all 5 boroughs were in darkness. Over 8 million people. No lights, no AC, no trains, no communication. In a city already stretched to the brink, this blackout was more than inconvenience. It was gasoline on a fire. Chapter 3. Darkness Falls. As the power failed, New Yorkers panicked. People were trapped in subways and elevators. Streetlights went dead. Businesses were shuttered. Some lit candles, others prepared for the worst. But in many neighborhoods, especially the poorest ones, the darkness meant opportunity. Looting began in Brooklyn, then quickly spread to Harlem, the Bronx, Crown Heights, and Queens. TVs, appliances, food, even furniture. Gone. Over 1,600 stores were looted. Over 1,000 fires. More than 3,700 arrested. It wasn't organized crime. It was desperate people, finally snapping. Chapter 4. Neighborhood by Neighborhood. Bushwick lost over 25% of its businesses in one night. The South Bronx burned. Crown Heights saw fires rage for hours. Meanwhile, in wealthier areas like Manhattan's Upper East Side, peaceful candlelit evenings. The blackout exposed a brutal truth. New York wasn't one city. It was 2. And the people in power had long ignored one of them. Chapter 5. The NYPD's failure. The NYPD was overwhelmed. Officers called in from across the city. Many were forced to watch from a distance. Some joined the looting. Others stood frozen. Police radios failed. The phone system crashed. Coordination was non-existent. Chaos ruled. The blackout exposed just how fragile the city's systems really were, and how unprepared law enforcement was to protect the people. Chapter 6. Media Manipulation. News reports painted New York as a city of savages. Mob rule. Animals in the streets. But the media focused on flames, not facts. They didn't talk about the poverty, the unemployment, the hunger, or the fact that many looters were kids, grabbing bread. The narrative wasn't about systems. It was about fear. And that fear helped fuel police crackdowns for decades to come. Chapter 7. Hip-hop's birth. Amid the destruction, something else sparked. Young teens in the Bronx, who suddenly had access to new speakers, turntables, and equipment, began hosting block parties. Out of darkness came rhythm. Out of desperation came creativity. This was the true birth of hip-hop. Born not in studios, but in basements and basketball courts, on looted decks and lifted mixers. This moment helped launch a global movement. Chapter 8. Long-term impact. The economic damage was catastrophic. Businesses left neighborhoods for good. Insurance claims mounted. Real estate crashed. And the city's morale tanked. But something else rose from the ashes. Local activism. Community rebuilding efforts. Black and brown youth organizing. Artists creating in the rubble. The blackout didn't just destroy, it galvanized. Chapter 9. Legacy. The 1977 blackout became a cautionary tale and a call to action. It exposed inequality, birthed movements, and changed how the city saw itself. It showed us what happens when a city ignores its people, when infrastructure fails, when pressure builds too long. And it showed us that even in darkness, culture can shine. New York is a city of fire and steel, of collapse and comeback, and sometimes it takes a blackout to light a new beginning. If you found this story powerful, hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment. What do you remember, or what have you heard, about the 1977 blackout? Because here on A New York Story, we don't just tell hi,